What is going on, YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have a deck profile of Angel Feathers 16 Crit. I've been playing this deck for months now, and so far at the moment, well, technically only 2 or 3 months, but this deck is doing extremely well. But it's a huge high roll gamble deck because you could brick very hard and then you can just lose. But this deck, in my opinion, it's a phenomenal toolbox deck, and I'm going to explain what I mean by toolbox. This deck, like, the amount of times that you should have a bad hand is going to be extremely rare. Just for the fact that, like I said, guys, this deck is a very toolbox deck. You have more options than any other deck because, again, you can add cards from the damage zone to your hand, which is amazing. But overall, guys, this deck is my 16 crit deck. I cannot take full credit. Ryan Kai, if you're watching this is definitely your deck profile, your build definitely inspired me to make this build. And let's go with the deck profile. So of course we have to play 4 Gabrielles. This card is the MVP card that you always want to ride. Unfortunately, it's not that easy to get her. At times she might be in the bottom of my deck, but if she does go into my damage zone, I have so many options to bring her back from the damage zone to my hand. So Gabrielles are definitely the main grade 3 that you want to see. Unfortunately, you might have bad luck that she does not show up. It happened to me multiple times where I had to dig through my deck so hard to see Gabrielle. I had to take damage, I had to use my grade 3 searchers, and I just never see her. Next grade 3, which is the MVP card, Hemios. This card is extremely unfair because this card stops your opponent from using Sentinels. So what she does on Vanguard or Rigard, on place +1, you can superior call a card from your damage zone to the field and then deal yourself a damage. So she's a +1 on place, which is actually really good. Unfortunately, her other ability can only be used as a rear guard. Her other ability, +3 on attack, you can have this unit gain +15k and 1 crit, and your opponent cannot use Sentinels against her. And at the end of that battle, she goes into your soul. So the main point of this deck is to deal yourself so much damage that you're putting all that power on her. And since we're playing 16 crit, you want to put all the crits on her so she can kill your opponent with 1 shot. So which explains why we're playing 16 crit. This card is supposed to end the game hopefully by turn 3, and if not, at least by turn 5. We're playing 3 copies of the Noshia. What this card does, it basically inflicts herself with damage. The main reason why we're playing this is because at times, which is honestly I think one of the best plays, is people they deny us damage. It happened to me multiple times where people they didn't want to give me damage. They would just pass their turn. They would give up their drive checks just for me not to have any damage, so they can make sure that they don't die next turn. But if you do play her Soul Blast 1, you can put a copy of herself from your deck to the damage zone. And keep in mind, guys, her ability is not once per turn. So on plays, so you play this card, activate her ability. Now she's in the damage zone, and then if you call her, activate her ability, counterblast the one that's in your damage zone, call it from the damage zone to the field, and then activate her ability again, which gives you another damage. So, like I said, guys, her ability is not once per turn, which makes it extremely broken. And the best part is, like I said, you can give yourself 2 or 3 damage 1 turn. Unfortunately, I only play 3 copies. I would love to play 4 copies, but to be honest, guys, I just don't have the space. If you guys want to, definitely highly recommend to play 4 copies of it. The MVP grade 2, this card is so good, especially on ride grade 2. So Vanguard or Rigard, +1, add a card from your damage zone to your hand. That's it. Oh, and it gains +3k, and then deal self damage. So again, like I said, guys, this deck is a very strong toolbox deck. You basically have extra cards in your damage zone, and you can just add them to your hand with cards like this. Unfortunately, she is only once per turn, but that's fine. That's extremely fine, by the way, because there are other multiple cards in this build that can add cards from the damage zone to her hand, or call cards from the graveyard to the field. So overall, guys, this grade 2 is definitely an MVP card for any Angel Feather build. Like, that's how good this card is, and I would not be surprised if this card is a 4 of in every Angel Feather deck. Next, we play 3 copies of Salafi. I do apologize if I butchered her name. Basically, on place, Soul Blast 1, you can heal damage and then deal damage. And then this unit, on rearguard only, gains plus 10k. So it's a phenomenal rearguard grade 2. You can heal damage and then deal damage. Unfortunately, you're not adding any cards to your hand. And her Soul Blast ability is actually pretty painful because in this build, we do Soul Blast a lot. If you guys don't know, Gabrielle's, her cost is Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1. So like I said, guys, the Soul Blasting does hurt the deck a lot. That's why I only play 3 copies of her. But overall, she's definitely a phenomenal grade 2 or phenomenal beat stick. And lastly, we're playing 2 copies of Raquel. This card, a lot of people are sleeping on. This card basically, it expands the toolbox even more. Because let's say I have multiple cards in my grave that I want to call to the field so I can activate their effects. And I don't have any of them in my hand or in my damage zone. Let's say I have her in my graveyard. On place her ability, Counter Blast 1. If a card went into my damage zone this turn, I can activate her ability. I can superior call a card from the grave to a, I believe, open rearguard. No, I can just call it to a rearguard, which is perfect because I could literally just call this card on top of her. Yes, it's a Counter Blast 1, but again, guys, we can literally just counter charge easily with just using the damage that we Counter Blast with and then dealing damage. So Raquel is definitely a phenomenal card. A lot of people are sleeping on her. Like I said, she just expands more of the toolbox. Like she expands her hand even more. For example, Hamiels. When I wouldn't see another, let's say my opponent survived on the 3rd turn where I went Hamiel. Now I'm on the 5th turn. I don't have a Hamiel in my hand or in the damage zone, but I have a Hamiel in my soul. I can definitely Soul Blast her with either Gabrielle's ability or with cards like her. So then she's in my drop zone. So if I have her, I can call her. By the way, her ability only activates when being called from your hand. She has to be called from your hand to activate her ability. So on call, activate her ability, Counter Blast 1, superior call this from the grave, and that's it. It's just such a combo deck. Again, guys, this grade 2, a lot of people are sleeping on. She definitely does put in a lot of work. Next, we have the grade 1, grade 3 Searcher for Angel Feathers. Her ability is pretty much easy. As long as a card went into your damage zone this turn, she gains plus 5. So she's a pretty big beat stick or a pretty decent front row rigger. One of the best on-ride grade 1s when you go in 2nd. Black Closure Zavil. So on Vanguard only, when it hits your opponent's Vanguard, you can draw a card. That's it. It's a +1 if it hits. Her other ability, it's decent, but unfortunately you're doing a 1 form. So her other ability is on place. I can discard a card, add a card from my damage zone to my hand, and then deal damage. So we have to discard a card in order to activate her ability, which does suck, but it could be worth it depending on what's in your hand, depending on if you don't have Gabrielle in your hand, if you don't have Hamiel in your hand. Like, she just helps your hand so much, and just for the fact that she also can deal yourself damage. Like I said, guys, in this build we're playing 16 crit, so we want to deal ourselves damage as much as possible, so we can put as many crits on Hamiel as possible. So she is definitely a 4 of. There's no reason why not to play 4 of her. Now this, a lot of people probably won't agree with me on. I'm playing 3 copies of Black Leash Abigail. So her ability is basically when a card was put into damage on this turn, she gains plus 10k. So she's a 17k booster or 17k beat stick. If I want to rush my opponent, which does happen at times if I'm playing against another Angel Feather deck, I want to rush them as soon as possible. And she's a pretty good grade 1 to rush with. Usually I want to put her behind the Hemiels because I want to make huge columns. Some people prefer to play her at 2. I'm playing her at 3 because, again, I like her as a booster and as an attacker. Then last but not least, we're playing 2 copies of Leisure. This grade 1, a lot of people also don't know about. Basically, you put this card into your soul, give 2 units plus 5 each. So usually I'll give the 1 plus 5 to Hamiel and the other plus 5 to the booster behind Hamiel. Best part is that, you know, it goes into your soul, which is good. And you can literally just soul blast it from your soul, and then you can call this card again with her ability. So again, let's just say that this is our Vanguard. Activate ability, put in soul, give 2 units plus 5k. Then call her, Counter Blast 1. Sorry, my bad. Alright, put into soul, give 2 units plus 5k. Activate her ability, Counter Blast 1, Soul Blast 1. You got Soul Blast this, it goes to the grave. Then you're gonna play Raquel to Superior Call this from the grave, activate her ability again, and give two of the same units or different units plus 5k as well. So again, this card definitely puts in a lot of work. I want to play 3 copies of it, but again, I just don't have the space. A lot of people are going to assume if I want to play 3 copies, why don't I just take out one of these and play an extra one? I would, but like I said, guys, I really like this grade 1 as a beat stick, as a front row, and a booster. So that's why I want to keep her at 3. But if you guys prefer, definitely play 3 copies of this grade 1. And of course, like I said, guys, we're playing 16 crit, pretty obvious. We're playing the Sentinel crit and all the crits in the world. We're not playing heal triggers. We are not playing draw triggers. Pretty simple because again, this deck needs to one-shot kill your opponent as much as possible. If you want to play crit, if you want to play heals, then go ahead. But I'm pretty sure those heals will never go off. Again, this is just my build. You probably have a better Angel Feather build. If you guys do have a better Angel Feather build, please comment down below your build and explain why. But I honestly think in this format, with how fast things are going, you have to play 16 crit Angel Feathers. It's honestly, in my opinion, I think the best build for Angel Feathers at the moment. There's No Shield. No Shield also does pretty well because No Shield you can Superior Ride. You can Superior Ride the Grade 3 on top and then attack with your Rigors again. But like I said, guys, this deck is extremely powerful. Gabrielle is literally a toolbox deck. Like, this whole deck is just a toolbox. It's gonna be extremely difficult for you to draw bad. It does happen once in a while. It happened to me multiple times where I'm actually grade locked because we're playing 11 grade 3s and we're playing 9 grade 2s and I believe 13 or 12 grade 1s. But overall, guys, this is my build. If you guys have any thoughts or opinions, please comment down below. Let me know what you guys think. If you guys like my build, please hit that thumbs up. But yeah, so this is my 16 crit toolbox deck for Angel Feathers, and yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. I hope you guys are being safe, and I hope to see you guys always next time. Deuces.